Team 10 of 52 teams of 8 rival wisdoms. Help make America wiser and kinder with antique quotes that have passed the test of time to make humanity great with words of wisdom to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Give your kids a competitive edge with faster reading skills with timed practice videos, alpha cipher puzzles to learn letters, words and phrases, and repetitive easy math to help us all grow wiser and kinder.
Team Quote 10.1. The color of the skin is in no way connected with strength of the mind or intellectual powers. Benjamin Banneker, 1731–1806. This powerful quote is from Benjamin Banneker, an extraordinary African-American polymath, a self-taught astronomer, mathematician, writer, almanac author, and surveyor who was also a prominent early abolitionist. Coming from a time of widespread racial prejudice and the brutal institution of slavery, Banneker's statement was revolutionary. He directly challenged the racist pseudoscientific theories of his era that claimed intellectual capabilities were determined by race. By asserting that skin color has no connection to mental capacity or intellectual potential, he was making a profound moral and scientific argument for human equality. Banneker himself was living proof of his statement. Despite being born to free black parents in a society that systematically denied educational opportunities to African Americans, he became a remarkable intellectual. He helped survey Washington, D.C., published successful almanacs, corresponded with Thomas Jefferson, challenging him on the issues of slavery and racial inequality, was a skilled astronomer who could predict solar eclipses, demonstrated extraordinary mathematical and scientific capabilities. His quote is both a personal testimony and a universal principle. It argues that human potential is not determined by physical characteristics, but by individual opportunity, education, curiosity, and effort. Banneker was advocating for a fundamental human right, the right to be judged by one's abilities and character, not by superficial physical traits. This statement remains powerfully relevant today, continuing to challenge prejudice and advocate for true human equality and opportunity.
Team Quote 10.2. Cruelty is contagious in uncivilized communities. Harriet Jacobs, 1813–1897. This quote is by Harriet Jacobs, an African-American writer, abolitionist, and remarkable survivor of slavery, who is best known for her groundbreaking autobiographical narrative, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Jacobs offers a profound sociological insight into how social environments can perpetuate and normalize cruelty. Her statement suggests that in communities lacking fundamental human empathy and social structures of mutual respect, cruel behaviors can spread and become endemic. Having experienced the brutal system of slavery firsthand, Jacobs understood how systemic oppression creates environments where cruelty becomes not just accepted, but expected. Her quote implies several critical observations. 1. Cruelty is not an individual aberration, but a socially learned behavior. 2. Uncivilized communities are characterized by a breakdown of empathy and human dignity. 3. Social systems can normalize and propagate inhumane treatment. 4. True civilization requires active rejection of cruelty and promotion of compassion. As a woman who endured unimaginable hardships under slavery, personally experienced systematic dehumanization, and later became a significant voice in the abolitionist movement, Jacobs spoke from deep personal experience. Her writings and activism were dedicated to exposing the moral bankruptcy of slavery and advocating for human rights. The quote remains powerfully relevant today, reminding us that social progress depends on consciously rejecting cruelty and building communities founded on mutual respect and understanding.
Team Quote 10.3. Character, not circumstances, makes the man. Booker T. Washington, 1856–1915. This quote by Booker T. Washington, a prominent African-American educator, author, and leader, encapsulates a powerful philosophy of personal responsibility and self-determination. Washington, who was born into slavery and rose to become one of the most influential African-American leaders of his time, lived this principle through his own remarkable life. Coming from the most challenging circumstances imaginable, born into slavery, experiencing profound poverty and systemic racism, he became a renowned educator, founder of the Tuskegee Institute, and a respected national figure. The quote suggests several profound insights. External conditions do not define a person's potential. Individual character is the true measure of a person's worth. Personal choices and moral strength matter more than initial circumstances. One's response to challenges reveals true character. Personal development and integrity are within everyone's control. For Washington, this was more than a philosophical statement, it was a lived reality. He believed in the transformative power of education, hard work, and personal character as the most effective means of overcoming societal barriers. He advocated for African Americans to develop skills, pursue education, and build economic independence as paths to social advancement. His life embodied this principle. Despite facing enormous obstacles, Washington focused on building character through education, entrepreneurship, and community development. He understood that while circumstances can be constraining, an individual's response to those circumstances, their courage, perseverance, and integrity ultimately defines their life's trajectory. This quote continues to inspire, suggesting that personal potential is not predetermined by birth or circumstance, but shaped by individual choice and character.
Team quote 10.4. You have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Harriet Tubman 1822-1913. This profound quote by Harriet Tubman, one of the most courageous and transformative figures in American history, is a powerful testament to human potential and inner resilience. Tubman, born into slavery, became a legendary conductor of the Underground Railroad, a Union spy during the Civil War, and a prominent abolitionist and humanitarian. Her life was a living embodiment of the very words in this quote, demonstrating extraordinary strength, patience, and passion in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. The quote speaks to several fundamental truths. Every individual possesses untapped inner resources. Transformative change begins with believing in one's own potential. Strength is not just physical, but spiritual and emotional. Patience is a critical companion to passion in achieving significant goals. Personal transformation can lead to broader social transformation. When Tubman speaks of reaching for the stars and changing the world, she's not speaking metaphorically. She literally risked her life repeatedly to lead enslaved people to freedom, rescuing approximately 70 people directly, and providing detailed instructions that helped many more escape. She changed the world through her extraordinary courage and commitment. Her words are both a personal affirmation and a universal message of hope. They suggest that within each person lies the capacity for extraordinary achievement, regardless of current circumstances. The quote encourages individuals to recognize their own potential, to persist through challenges, and to believe in their ability to make meaningful change. For Tubman, who faced slavery, potential death, and systemic racism, these words were not just inspirational, they were a lived philosophy that drove her remarkable life of service and liberation.
Team quote 10.5. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Frederick Douglass 1818 to 1895. This powerful quote by Frederick Douglass, a towering figure in the abolitionist movement and one of the most important African American leaders of the 19th century, encapsulates a profound understanding of human progress and social change. Douglass, who escaped slavery and became a renowned orator, writer, and social reformer, knew intimately the meaning of struggle. His life was a testament to the transformative power of persistent resistance against oppression. When he speaks of struggle, he's not just referring to physical resistance, but to intellectual, moral, and social resistance against injustice. The quote suggests several crucial insights. Progress is not granted, but earned through persistent effort. Meaningful change requires confronting and overcoming obstacles. Comfort and complacency are enemies of advancement. Struggle is not a barrier to progress, but its essential catalyst. Personal and social transformation demand courage and resilience. For Douglass, struggle was not just a personal experience, but a collective one. As a key leader in the abolitionist movement, He understood that social progress requires continuous, strategic, and principled resistance to systemic injustice. This quote remains profoundly relevant today. It challenges individuals and societies to recognize that meaningful change requires discomfort. Understand that progress is an active, ongoing process. Persist in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. View struggle not as a weakness, but as a source of strength and transformation. Douglas's words continue to inspire movements for social justice, reminding us that progress is not a gift, but a hard-won achievement through persistent, principled struggle.
Team quote 10.6. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. Sarah Breedlove, 1867 to 1919. This powerful quote is from Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker, an extraordinary entrepreneur who became one of the first self-made female millionaires in America. The quote embodies her remarkable life philosophy of proactive self-determination. As a woman born to former slaves orphaned at 7, who worked as a laundress before building a revolutionary hair care business, Breedlove lived these words every day. She didn't wait for opportunities to present themselves. She actively created them. Her statement suggests several key principles. Passivity is the enemy of success. Opportunity is not something received, but something created. Personal initiative is the most powerful tool for advancement. Success requires action, not wishful thinking. One must be the architect of their own destiny. Madam C.J. Walker transformed her life through remarkable entrepreneurial spirit. She developed a hair care product line for Black women, created a network of sales agents providing economic opportunities for thousands, became a millionaire through her own ingenuity and hard work, used her wealth to support civil rights and educational causes. This quote is more than motivational advice. It's a blueprint for personal empowerment. It challenges individuals to stop waiting, to take decisive action, and to construct their own paths to success, regardless of initial circumstances. Her life was a living demonstration that with courage, creativity, and persistent effort, one can indeed make their own opportunities.
Team quote 10.7. All generalizations are dangerous, even this one. Alexandre Dumas, 1802 to 1870. This quote by Alexandre Dumas, the renowned French novelist and playwright best known for works like The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo, is a brilliantly witty example of philosophical paradox and self-referential humor. The statement is deliciously ironic. By declaring that all generalizations are dangerous, and then immediately acknowledging that this statement itself is a generalization, Dumas creates a clever intellectual trap. He demonstrates the inherent limitation of sweeping statements and the complexity of human thought. The quote suggests several profound insights. Absolute statements are often problematic. Critical thinking requires nuance and careful qualification. Intellectual humility means recognizing the limitations of our own assertions. Wisdom lies in understanding the complexity beneath surface-level observations. Dumas, as a writer and keen observer of human nature, understood that language and thought are rarely as simple as they might first appear. His quote invites us to question broad, sweeping statements. Recognize the complexity of human experience. Avoid reductive thinking. Approach knowledge with curiosity and skepticism. The self-referential nature of the quote, where the statement undermines itself, is a masterful demonstration of intellectual playfulness. It's a reminder that true understanding requires us to constantly examine and challenge our own assumptions. This quote continues to be celebrated as a witty, sophisticated commentary on the dangers of oversimplification and the importance of nuanced, critical thinking.
Team quote 10.8. Religion without humanity is very poor human stuff. Sojourner Truth, 1797 to 1883. This profound quote is from Sojourner Truth, an extraordinary African-American abolitionist, women's rights activist, and preacher who was born into slavery and became one of the most powerful moral voices of the 19th century. The statement reveals Truth's deep understanding that genuine religious practice must be fundamentally rooted in human compassion, empathy, and active care for others. By suggesting that religion disconnected from humanity is very poor human stuff, She challenges religious practitioners to move beyond ritual and doctrine to meaningful, practical expressions of love and justice. For Truth, who experienced the brutal dehumanization of slavery and fought tirelessly for human rights, this quote reflects her lived experience. She understood that true spiritual practice is not about abstract beliefs, but about how those beliefs translate into treatment of other human beings. Key insights in her statement include: religious practice must be measured by its impact on human dignity. Compassion and active care are essential spiritual practices. Authentic faith requires engagement with human suffering. Spiritual belief is meaningless without practical expression of love. Humanity is the truest manifestation of spiritual understanding. As a former slave who became a powerful speaker and activist, Sojourner Truth embodied this principle. She used her platform to fight against slavery, advocate for women's rights, support humanitarian causes, demand recognition of African Americans' full humanity. Her quote remains a powerful challenge to any religious or philosophical system that does not prioritize human welfare, dignity, and compassion. It suggests that the most profound spiritual practice is simply treating all people with fundamental respect and actively working to reduce human suffering.
Free Easy Extra Advantage Math, Spelling and Reading Workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopsaid.com. Free Easy Math Wisdom Workbooks with auto-repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free Easy Alpha Cipher-coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this cipher quote of encouragement using either our Learning to Spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby tees that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence, sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think, therefore I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social equalities help make us all wiser and kinder, with blatantly subliminal messages promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our gift wisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today.